Hey, what do you say? This is Boz and Men speaking out, and we are here to talk about childhood trauma, today's impact, and as always, I have my esteemed panel on the podcast with me. We may have some other individuals joining us later on, but for now, I have E Dub. What's going on, E? How you doing, buddy?
Morning, boss. How you feeling, brother?
Doing well, doing well. Happy Thanksgiving to you, by the way.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That's right. That's right. This is a historic day. It has a timestamp on it. We got to go back to Thanksgiving 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I'm like, damn, man, I got a whole lot more gray now than I did back then. And I got my man
commemorate
JD,
the conversation. I feel you.
my man JD with the MSO shirt on. Can you stand
good,
up,
baby,
ladies and
good.
gentlemen? Allow me to introduce myself.
JD in the building, baby. Thanks
That's
for having
right,
me,
baby.
man.
That's right. MSO men speaking out for you. That's right, Joe. I just need you to stand up real quick though. Show the viewers the beautiful shirt that that was gifted to us by Dr. Shabazz that made the MSO men speaking out shirt.
Yeah,
There you go. You can pick up your own MCO shirt for $9.99. Coming soon to menspeakingout.com to you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting on that Black Friday sale.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Literally Black Friday.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
man. I'll take the devil maybe shit. Yeah, I got to do this, got to cover it up.
Advertise.
Can't make it my damn mind what I want to wear. But all fairness, gentlemen, this is actually the first episode of the next season, right? So this is actually season 7, episode number 1. So I'm coming into the new season with you guys. So this is a milestone as well as a memorable moment by being Thanksgiving and in 2022. So episode 61, childhood trauma, today's impact. Would you all agree that human suffering is, I'm sorry, this is part 2, by the way. Childhood trauma, today's impact, part 2. Make sure I'm clear on that, part 2. There's another one I did previously, haven't released it yet, but this is part 2. So let me ask you all a question. I said human suffering is all around us. There are things like life-altering injuries, deaths, physical, emotional stuff that we do. My question to you is that, or that we experience, do you believe human suffering is all around us?
Is what?
Human suffering, is it all around us that we just can't see it?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. People hold it within, Don't speak about it. Don't talk about it, I mean, you don't ever know until, not to say it's too late, but it could have been just talked about it, just even with your doctor, your loved one, or your spouse, your friend, and to take something that happened, then it want to come all out, and then everybody's shocked on, what you was going through and thinking everything was good way in the beginning, but this was really bothering you way back then, But some people be embarrassed about it. They probably don't want to talk about it, Then the other half don't know, until, not saying it's too late, but they keep it like that dark secret. They keep it in,
Yeah.
So,
And it's definitely kept in. As a matter of fact, my nephew joining the podcast. What's going on, Ferris?
Oh, what's going on with you?
Hey man, how you doing? How you doing?
Building, baby.
What's going on, Paris?
What's going on with you guys? Hey,
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Be right back.
Yeah. Well, I talked to him earlier. He was going to join the podcast, and he wanted to share something too. And since that's my nephew and being part of the same family, he can probably attest to some of the stuff that I'm going to share. I'm going to be fully transparent on this podcast, by the way, listeners. So I'm not going to share all my laundry, but I'm going to share some things to kind of help, maybe some nuggets that from my past experiences that can probably help you with your future experiences or things that you went through. So, but yes, Eric, Joe's answered a question about human suffering. What do you think about human suffering, E?
I also agree it's all around. In most cases, as JD stated, it's discussed among family members, friends, And sometimes it's also a matter of expression when it's too late and a person can implode, maybe committing suicide or bodily harm to themselves. Um, but I'm finding most in the spaces that I hear about um, suffering, and it's just mental health. A lot of folks now are seeking therapy and making sure that they seek the help that they get before something happens or they implode.
Gotcha. No. That's actually
No.
good. You know what I'm saying? Because years ago, therapy was taboo, right?
Correct.
You going to see a therapist? What the fuck wrong with you? You crazy or something? You know, therapy was taboo, and especially in the Black community. Even to this day, it's still somewhat taboo in our community, right? Because we don't believe we don't need a therapist. We got everything under control. And do we really? So, Paris, I asked a question about human suffering, right? The question is, do you think that human suffering is around us?
Do I think humans? Oh, most definitely. I think there's a lot of that going on because a lot of people they become the getting their emotions and they keep a lot of stuff inside of them instead of releasing it. Like you say, it's always good to talk to a professional. See, that's what we need to start doing. See, if we start to speak to professionals and get professional help, I feel like we can solve a lot of problems. I feel like that's the best thing that can be done. Just like education. If you don't know it, guess what? You're gonna go learn it. And guess who you're gonna learn from? You're gonna end up learning from a teacher. So at the end of the day, by speaking to a teacher and somebody that's very knowledgeable on the subject, that can really help you resolve your issues. And I feel like that's something that we need to really start looking into. It don't be ashamed if you need to go to somebody and talk to your problem. You should be happy and you should be sharing that because that can help someone else with their issues.
Gotcha.
So I feel like we got a lot of that going on, but I feel like at the end of the day, it can be solved by speaking on it and by being open-minded.
Yeah.
You understand? Being open-minded is very, very important. It's a song J. Cole, he got an album, right? And he got this one song on his album. It's a put your pride to the side. You gotta put your pride to the side. You feel what I'm saying? The pride is the devil. Pride is the devil. There we go. Pride is the devil. At the end of the day, you got to put your pride to the side and you got to work on yourself and don't, and I feel like at the end of the day, that'll be, real, real good for you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's spot on. And let me answer the question myself. Is human suffering around us? Yes. Human suffering to me, like I said, I'm dealing with life-term like injuries, like life altering injuries. I'm sorry, deaths, sexual abuse, neglect, physical, emotional, and mental abuse. You know what I'm saying? They're all around us, and people are walking all around. I learned that in a class that I'm taking is that I think I shared this with some of you guys already. How some of us always go from so man, I went to man 1 to 100. Well, you can't go from 1 to 100 because when you go 1 to 50, that's the thinking range, right? Well, let me think about this. Let me not take action. Let me turn away from this bullshit. Most of us is already sitting on 50, right? So we halfway there all the time, every single day. So we're not going from 1 to 100. We're going from 50 to 100, right? Because guess what? We've been dealing with all that trauma, that historic stuff that's in our lives that we carrying with us every single day. So it's easy to get to 100 because we're sitting on 50.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And when that was shared with me, I was like, wow, that's phenomenal because I never thought about I've been sitting on 50 for a long time.
You right at the midpoint.
Exactly. So all the logic is below that. Right? I didn't miss all the logic because I'm dealing with all that trauma. I'm dealing with that neglect. I'm dealing with that emotional, abuse. I'm dealing with that it's that historic stuff that's happened to me that I've been carrying around. Like I said, it's called the secretly wounded. We are suffering in silence. So what do we do about it? Right? We walk around and with untold hidden trauma, and we don't realize how many of us, and I say us, I mean people as a whole, are the walking wounded. Right?
Yeah.
Why don't we know this? Because we ain't gonna tell it. And when you go on social media, ain't nobody gonna tell you. They may say somebody lost their family or or something, but nobody gonna tell you I'm at home fighting with my spouse every day about the bills. I'm having problems with my kids. Who is gonna tell you that in that masked environment? Right? So we deal with it, but on the surface we wear a mask because we want everybody to think everything's good and rosy. And the truth be told, we all wearing one. I know I do. That's for sure. So we'll sit and think about this for a second, right? Childhood trauma. All right. Childhood trauma is also known as adverse childhood experiences, ACE. So when I use the word ACE, that's what I'm talking about. Adverse childhood experiences. All right. And they are events or circumstances that may be traumatic to children during the first 18 years of their life. Okay. What does that include? Violence, such as abuse, verbal, physical, neglect, right? Or intimate partner violence, meaning that, between your sister and her boyfriend, your brother and his girlfriend, your aunt, uncle, your mom and dad, ain't got to necessarily be in your wheelhouse. It can be something you experience, right? Living with family members who have health or substance abuse issues, drugs, drinking, even health issues, Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, right? Or the instability in relationships through parental separations or divorce, or incarceration, right? This is just, there's many more. There's a lot more, but I'm just throwing a few out there right now. And believe it or not, the CDC, here she is. There she is. Hey, what's going down?
Good morning. I'm good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good.
Good morning, everyone. Let me take a step back. I should introduce these two people. One is Paris Priest Blake. This is my nephew, my sister's son, and this is my man, 50 grand right hand. And we have Tracy. We have Tracy from a long childhood friend who's also a published author, right? And I think I got the book. Hold on. Everybody stand by. I got the book here. Stand by.
Okay. Give me the plug.
Hey, Tracy, how you been doing?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Yes. I have the book right here. There you go. I purchased the book. Go get it. I don't know if you can see it in my camera, but it says The Journey to Finding My Voice by Tracy Dude. There you go.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And I'm in the book.
Oh.
Yes, I'm in the book. And the Civic Crew is in the book, fellas. The Civic Crew is in the book. We are
Absolutely.
We've been published.
Awesome.
Yes, the Civic Crew is in this book. So I think Amazon, right?
Yes, Amazon.
Amazon. That's right. The Civic Crew, baby. The group is in the book.
I'm gonna purchase that when I get off the podcast. I'm gonna go.
That's where it all started.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Where it all started from. There you go. Yes. So Tracy, thank you for joining us. We were just asking a question. I'm gonna maybe pick it up with you. The question I asked is, I said, is human suffering all around us?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If it's not you, it's someone that you know. that you may not know
Mhm.
that's going through it. So it's absolutely, it can be someone that we're working with or in the car next to us, but it's absolutely all around us. But it's shielded. So you have the facade and the face that you won't know that is there, but it's absolutely all around us.
Mm.
Gotcha. And you think that people wear a mask basically to hide that for our secretly wounded,
Yes.
what I call that, to hide that.
Yes, they do. I know I did. They do because if they don't, then someone's going to ask what wrong or what happened, and they're not ready to tell that. Or like you said, they may be embarrassed or feel ashamed, or no one may believe them, or it's not their fault. It's their fault. So yeah, they'll wear a mask because they're not ready to make it public, and then they will have to acknowledge what it
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think we all have a little bit, but the childhood trauma, yeah, whether it's a physical, mental, we all have a little bit of it that took us into our adulthood, and things may happen as an adult that you don't know came about from something in your childhood.
Sure. And this is a question for all of you, and of course, anyone can feel free to respond. Um, can you think of, and it's only if you want to share. You don't have. You don't. I'm not asking you to share anything you don't want to. But can you think of anything that a traumatic experience that has happened in your life that has either came out to be something positive in your life, or actually has had an adverse effect in your life as an adult?
Well, I'll go first. I had something that was a positive and a negative. I was molested as a child by a family member, a cousin. I'm not going to say alleged because it's my truth and it did happen. But it took me to adulthood, almost 35 years later, to even tell family. No one knew. So I hid that. I had that visual, that face, that happy go lucky, and no one in my family from childhood on to maybe 3 years ago knew ever happened. So it can absolutely, you can cover it up. It was positive because I chose to get mental help myself because I didn't want it to continue to affect myself and my family. So I chose to do that, and it did help me because I chose to write that book, and I chose to write letters to my family and make it all public. And ever since then, it feels like a weight was lifted off. So I have no problem even telling a stranger my truth. So once you get to that point, it's you can flip it. I hope you can by getting some type of mental help. You can flip it and you can make it a positive, if not just for you right now, but for someone, even just by telling your story. So, yeah, it was trauma up to adulthood. I did things that I look back now that I could have been killed for, and yeah, it was very traumatic. But telling my story is still helping me with my trauma because I don't think you ever get over it. I don't think you'll ever get past what happened, but you can get help for it. So yeah, I think everyone should have some type of psych help or some type of medical doctor, even if
Mhm.
it's just to tell them about your day. It doesn't
Sure.
have to be a big trauma. I think everyone should have someone to talk to.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. That's I commend you for even, sharing something as deep and as heavy,
Appreciate it.
as that. Um, Edub, Pears, JD, anything you want to share? If not, I mean, I can go. I just wanted to kind of give everybody opportunity to, you know, share something.
Well, you know what? Me personally, I can share something. When I was younger, I grew up around an individual that I thought was my father. I was around him for years. He was a cool guy, but he had some issues. I never had any issues as far as being touched or anything like that. But we did have physical confrontations where I had to lay my hands on him, or I had to speak up for my family because he might have been doing something wrong. But years down the line, I found out that wasn't even my father. I found out my father was somebody else, right? So as a kid, I was growing up and I was always wondering, like, man, like, I feel so different. You know, I feel different. I like to do different things, and this person that I'm around, I don't really feel like, you know, they're a part of me. So when I was 17 years old, my mom revealed that, you know, I had another father. And I met that guy when I was about 17, going into 18, and he died when I was 24. And you know, that was real hurtful. But when I met this gentleman, this man he was official. You know, he taught me a lot. He showed me a lot. He was plugged in the city. He was real big on education and knowledge. And to be honest, I thank God that I was able to meet this person for the short term that I have for him, because I feel like it changed my life in a positive way. Because I was kind of like, I was already in a good mind state, but I still had a lot of questions. And by meeting this person, I had a lot of questions. You know, a lot of stuff was able to get answered. So I feel like, you know, it definitely changed my life in a positive direction. You know, it just kind of enhanced it, and it kind of let me know that at the end of the day I came from something different.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah. You know, and you said you found out at 18, right?
yeah, I found that at 17, and he
17.
died when I was like 21. So I only got to know him for 4 years. So
Wow.
at the end of the day, you know, it was tough, but at the same time, I just thank God for showing me. And to be honest, I'm just happy that I was able to find that out, because you got a lot of young men and a lot of young women that'll never get to know, you know, because these stories are always hidden, you know. So at the end of the day, I just thank God for revealing the truth. And to be honest, I feel like it definitely helped me out in my future life, because I knew I came from somebody that was like me, and I knew I came from somebody that was a hustler and that was very ambitious, and it motivated me in my future life to do a lot of stuff that I need to do. You know, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but at the same time, I try to do a lot more positives than negatives, and I feel like that was a major impact in my life, and I thank God for that.
There
So
you go. There you go. Exactly. And like I said earlier, it's called adverse childhood experiences, right? ACE are events or circumstances that may be traumatic to children in the first 18 years. That's why I asked you, how old were you when you discovered your father,
yeah, it was
right? Your
17.
your your biological father. You know, so yeah, you were 17. So yeah, in that first 18 years, but you took what you found out, you know, and that's traumatic, right? I mean, 17, 18 years of your life not knowing this man is your father to this man is,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
having that 4 year window
yeah.
of being with him,
Yeah.
you
And then
know.
you're talking about totally two different people. One
Yeah,
person was leading me towards a life of crime and destruction and a lot of negativity, to be honest. And then on the other hand, I was able to meet somebody that was more uplifting, positive, and lead me to a place where I felt like I needed to be led to.
yeah,
So, you know, that was the big difference between the two. You know, so
yeah, and help you put you where you are today. Truth be
oh
told.
man, it helped me. It helped me definitely. It helped me.
It-
That's
It
good.
helped me. It helped me understand a lot of things, and then it give me the understanding of, you know, things do happen, and you know, at the end of the day, we just got to be thankful for what we have and where we at. But we always can work on it. You know, we
yeah,
always can work. You know, so
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and share full transparency. You know, when I was a young man, like I said, I wasn't a victim of child abuse. I was not a victim of sexual abuse. I was not a victim of any of that. Um, I was a victim of not being able to speak, you know, bring my whole self to, you know, one of my parents, you know, meaning that, you know, if I had questions about girls, if I had question about money, if I had question about, you know, I'm starting to see hair down there when they're starting to do what's going on with my physical attributes. I had a parent I can never talk to about that, you know, because that was not in their wheelhouse, right? That parent was about structure and education and stuff like that. But if I had a question about, hey, you know, hey, how do I treat this girl, or you know, uh, what is condoms, what are STDs, you know, so basically not saying that that individual was not, you know, there for me in other aspects, but even up until the day he passed, well, that's my dad. I said he shit. I can get out of it now. Even to the day he passed, we never had those conversations. I've never talked to my father about sex. or anything that was, you know, deep into a rabbit hole. He would say, son, get your education, go to school. You got to get your degree. You got to do this, which was cool, which I did. I got my bachelor's and master's degree. But what I'm saying is, that's cool on the surface. Remember my dad took us to baseball games in the park and all that stuff. That's cool. I'll take him to rides in his car. Joe, you remember that when we was a kid? We did all that stuff. But when it came to real conversations on how to treat a woman, that had to come from my mom. Now, my mom was the truth. A1 for sure. But at the same time, I was kind of looking from my father. And that has impacted me my entire adult life. Taking advantage of women, I've done it. I'm going to be honest with you. Plenty of times. Taking advantage of my family. When I say taking advantage of, not really, considering their thoughts or opinions, me making decisions without, asking them, hey, what do you think? Me saying this is my stuff, my this, my that, right? And I sit and think about that. I'm like, I was a goddamn fool for doing that, for saying that kind of stuff, because everybody's been impacted by it. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I'm very proud of the man I am. I need work. We all need work, right? I take care of my family for sure. I'm all about quality of life, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. But that experience for me throughout my first 18 years was traumatic, because I wound up getting married at a very young age, getting divorced. I think I was 22 when I got married, 21 years old when I got married the first time. And then I got married again at 27. I only lasted a year and a half. And I got married again at 34. So think about that for a second. I wasn't even lukewarm 35 yet, and I've been married 3 times. And I pray to God I want to get married again. But what I am saying is, if I would have had some sort of structure or some sort of discipline, then I would have been able to honestly say that I would be better prepared for relationships later on in life, and wouldn't have been that womanizer that I was earlier in life. And what did God give me? 8 girls. Ain't that a bitch? So now I got to make sure that they on the right path. So that's what I would say it was my childhood trauma. JD, anything you want to share?
Well, I can say, I guess it's little man just coming up. Like I say, wasn't abused where my mom whooped me with a extension cord, but I guess just watching her, and I guess my stepdad, he used to always fight. He used to hit on it and everything. So I think then when I got older, it was like I took that into my relationships. I mean, hitting women, smacking with the quickness, putting my hands on them. And that wasn't me. Even my mother was telling me when I got older that, that's not me, because I went through it. You didn't really see it, but I seen the physical, the face, the arms. My mom was real light. So it was, it was there for me to see. So I'm thinking, damn, that's what a man got to do, to keep a woman straight. But I ain't, for that to happen to her. Now, nobody want their mom being abused or anything. So, he seen me in action a few times, went to jail for it. And I think that what woke me up, that domestic, just sitting there, and I'm looking at the clock, and the damn clock ain't even move. It's moving, but it ain't moving. And I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? This ain't me. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to get myself together, just dealing with that coming up, and I always kind of cap it in, man. That would make me real, just so whatever somebody, especially a woman, if I'm dealing with or whatever, and I'll be like, and I always come with the little saying, hey, I've been locked up for domestic now. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, as in not a way in a jokey way, and I shouldn't even be like that. Anybody shouldn't put their hands on a woman. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I wasn't just hit a nail to the ground. I'm just swinging like I'm hitting a guy, but I just seen it coming up, and just in my family, it was just, and I kind of dealt with that for a while. I didn't really seek help for it, just, read literature when the internet got kind of, popping and all that, just seeing it, and you see it on TV. And I just had to pull myself away for it just to be, that's not me. I mean, I grew up seeing it, but I don't got to be that person. You know what I'm saying? So just got myself together and kind of dealt with it. But I think I'm okay now, but you can't never say. You can always just ask for help or either just talk to a professional, like, Paris was saying earlier. So, but yeah, that's probably my childhood trauma just coming up on that. Just, Jamil, you probably didn't really see it, probably never talked about it. E, you was coming in probably when we was already, damn near in the teens or whatever. But yeah, then by then, I think, I'm walking around with a pistol. I think he jumped on her again, then I'm on my way down now because she had already moved out then, but he was already gone. Now I could have either straight killed him, whatever, and been just locked up for whatever. I don't know if you was I think you was back from Germany. I think you probably was in Indianapolis. But yeah, but she just had to get away from that, and she did. And that just took that with me, like, into my relationships. And I knew that wasn't me, so, but I think I'm good now, I'm straight from E talking about throwing people over the tables or whatever, but I'm good.
Thank you, Joe. That was very interesting that you shared that. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew back in the day when we was kids, I was 19, 18, 19 years old, and you was 20 years old walking around. I know you had a pistol back then, and I know nothing about no guns, I'm, 18, 19 years old, but as long as I know you had one, we were safe. I said, long as I'm hanging out with him. I got a water gun over here. I bring a knife to a gunfight. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna have Joe.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right, right on, man. E, what about you, man? What is there anything that you would like to high levelly share that this childhood experience, the trauma that carried over into your adulthood?
Yes, I'll start to say that I believe in reminiscing with JD's story. We're a lot alike in sharing and just being exposed to our life circumstances, whether they be in our interior household or just in the community in which we were raised in. And like Paris, myself, I grew up around my stepfather. I didn't have a strong or a great relationship with my biological dad. At the age of 2, I was being raised by another man, like Paris mentioned, that didn't carry the same similarities that I started to acknowledge when I started to grow and be a young man. We didn't look alike. We had nothing in common. And I oftentimes felt like, where did I fit in? And I'm the oldest of 3 boys. The other 2, my other younger siblings, are biologically by my stepfather. So I can see their relationship, their similarities, and how they kind of would mirror this man that's now in our household. And I didn't. And the only thing that I looked for out of that was I getting the quality things that was needed, and that's love, being fed, clothed, and taken care of. Those things took place, but as I became older, there was still a void that was a trauma for me, because I acknowledged that he wasn't a strong man. And I'm like, okay, there were some shortcomings. There was, as JD alluded to, in that day, I witnessed some physical abuse. You know, he was abusive in some cases, maybe because, you know, just a disagreement with my mom, or maybe he was a black man in a black community, and oftentimes I've seen men lash out if they can't find a job or not being able to provide as a man, and they look at being a physical abuser and lashing out on any shortcoming that may be coming their way. And so as I grew and witnessed those traumas, I kind of looked in and self-reflected in myself and said, you know what? Is that the type of man that I aspire to be? And it role played in my mind as I started to work and go through school and the community and try to identify what type of young man or man that I aspire to be. And that trauma of just having that whole gamut of things of my community and in my interior household, I just started to pick things that I said that I didn't like and say, I need to be better than that. I want to do better than that. I want to be able to, when I have a child, I want to make sure that I am that provider and not that abuser. When I do get married, I want to make sure that I'm that man that's not that abuser, and that I can listen and be that provider. And all the things that disgust me or I didn't like as me growing up as a young man in my household, I made a conscious pact with myself to say, you know what? I want to be better than those shortcomings. I want to be better and do better than those shortcomings. And those are the traumas that I use to fuel me to be a better person, in which I think a lot of people, you know, at some point of it can be lost in that. Some people can drown in that sorrow or that abuse, or they can use that to strengthen themselves to be stronger and push through.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that, man. You sharing that. You know, and of course, knowing you as a youth, you know, I think I mentioned I was 16-ish, I believe. And knowing your brothers, knowing your family, knowing your mama, and knowing everybody, you know, I definitely have a much deeper appreciation for what you just shared, because your family is my family, you know. So, you know, this is how it
Likewise.
is, you know, exactly. So I definitely appreciate that. So I want to share something with you guys. I want to add it to the stream. If you guys can see it, this is called the trauma wheel. And for the listeners on the podcast, when this does hit the, you know, iHeart and Spotify and Apple, I'm going to actually verbally say what these are. So there are 6, right, of these attributes on the trauma wheel. And the trauma wheel, we're going to start with avoidance, right? And these are some of the things we carry over into our adulthood, right? That's what it is. The trauma wheel, these are items we carry over into our adulthood from childhood trauma. So we're going to start with avoidance, right? Trauma that can lead to the deliberate avoidance of things that represent or remind us of traumatic events. These traumatic reminders may be external clues like location, smell, sounds, people, or internal clues like distressing memories, sensations, thoughts, or feelings. For example, sexual abuse. Okay, we don't want to talk about it, but it truly exists, right? When something happens, and Tracy, please forgive me. I'm gonna just kind of lean on you for response
No
here.
problem.
When something happens to you as a child, and a certain touch or certain place or whatever, and then you're with your husband or mate, you know, someone you're committed to, when they go to touch you or whatever in that space, that could be traumatic.
Yeah, it absolutely can. It it's called PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
You will, yeah, it makes you remember why you don't like that that touch or something with that partner, because it takes you back to what happened before that was not okay. That was your trauma. So
Yeah.
yeah, you do take it to adulthood. You may not want them to hold your hand that way, or um, hug you a certain way, or put you a certain way because of what happened. And all of that could be out of love from your partner and things like that. But yeah, you're taking it to an adulthood. That I don't I don't know how you overcome from that. I'm still trying to overcome from that. But
Mhm.
Mm.
yeah, you do still take it. And this is almost 40 years ago. So you do still, yeah, it affects your adulthood in so many levels as far as sexual abuse. It does. The way you raise your girls, the way you raise your sons, it affects, yeah, it affects a lot.
Gotcha. No, well, thank you for that. I'm probably won't hit all these, but I'm at least hit three. Uh, and the next one I want to talk about is this startle response. Startle response is biologically programmed sequence of movements to keep humans safe in the face of sudden danger. After a traumatic event or childhood maltreatment, a person may be startled more easily, and or be the experience of being startled can be more distressing. It could be something as simple as a gunshot, right? A firecracker or something going off, right? A fireworks, whatever, right? That's startled response. You know, especially growing up, and I'm not going to say we all from Chicago. I mean, all south side Chicago, and hearing, from Inglewood, and hearing what's going on over there. That's on the south side. You know what I mean? It's you get away from that. Somebody you come over here in good old Indiana, light a firework like. No, man, we ain't shooting outside. That's just somebody from Fourth of July. But we got our
Yeah,
foods. We got our foods here too now, mind you.
yeah,
Exactly. But I'm just saying, right? I mean, you grew up in an environment where that was an everyday behavior. So and so getting this, so and so got shot, so and so this, and we grew up in that. Yep.
yeah,
And in some form or fashion, aren't we all on this call kind of traumatized from that?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'Cause we
And your
grew up in
loved
that
ones
world.
and family
you grew up in that
affected.
environment.
Yep.
Yeah, we grew up in that environment. And I believe all of us, can't speak for you, Tracy, but I believe all of us in some form or fashion has either owned a firearm.
Oh, I
Because
do.
of that reason.
Yep. I used to always have an Android phone. I was always team Android. And my children are the reason why I got an iPhone because you can do the find your friend and locations.
Mhm.
I always wanted to know where they were. I wanted to know the company that they were in, and not just so much of my daughters, but also my sons.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. So I will get up 2, 3 in the morning if I know if they're they don't live with me. I'm going to check to make sure they're where they're supposed to be, or they're not in an environment or around someone that can hurt them. And I may stay up. It was really bad. I had to start taking sleeping pills. It was that bad that I would stay up all night worrying about what could happen to them because of something that happened to me in my childhood. So yeah, just like the fire, the gunshots, and all that. Like animals, they say animals don't really like fireworks and things like that. Some of them, because of the way they were as puppies and the way that they were raised, and they'll go and they'll hide under things. It's current things that become traumatic from your upbringing, your neighborhood, and yeah, I don't know how to avoid that. Again, I'm still working on it, so I don't even know how you overcome from that. And people take it to adulthood, and
Yeah.
they may go out and do something, God forbid, go take a life or do
Yeah.
something detrimental because of something that they didn't heal from when they were younger.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit one more. I'm sharing the bottom of it too: memory and concentration and sleep disturbances. But one that's really sits near and dear to me is that intrusive thoughts. Right, intrusive thoughts, which is right here on the left hand side. Intrusive thoughts, including flashbacks, are threatening thoughts that historically occur without consciousness or voluntary control. These mental experiences are capable of creating severe anxiety when they enter the mind. Triggers may be known or unknown, as intrusive thoughts can often do and occur without any warning. Sometimes we are programmed and we don't even know it. That's basically what I look at that as. We are programmed to do things. We are, because something we've always done. For example, and most of us on this call, I am a I don't know if you're a compulsive. I don't know. I like things clean, so I don't know. If that's a bad thing. But in my day, back in my day, even sometimes today, I had a tendency to leave things. I like my keyboard straight. I like my mouse this. I like my phone that. I like things in the order I leave them in. And when I come home and I see things even tilted, I'm like, and I could have bumped up against it, walked out the door, and then I come back and it's tilted. I'm like,
I agree with you, boss. I'm the same way. Decency and in order.
Yeah, exactly. And my mother was a woman who we would go to school every day, and she'd be at home. I come home from school, my bed be made, my clothes be washed, my clothes be folded on my bed, and she go in my whole room and clean it up while I'm in school. And I was just like, that was kind of that ingrained in me over the years. Because like I said earlier in this call, I'm all about a good quality of life. I like a good quality of life. Y'all know, we in Miami, Joe and Eric. We in Miami, and I'm getting a freaking furnace put on the house and an AC unit on the house because my quality of life. I want clean air, clean carpet, fresh paint, things in order, house clean. Not everybody agrees to that philosophy though. And it's I guess it's a compulsive something disorder. I forget the full medical term, but
OCD or something. Yeah.
Yeah, OCD. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Obsessive
Yeah,
compulsive.
yeah. They say I'm the same way. So.
Yeah, and I've been shunned for that, man. I've been shunned for that, But like it says, thoughts including flashbacks and threatening thoughts, without conscious or voluntary control. I'm just not I just do it. I just do it. So believe it or not, I am in therapy.
That's good.
Not just for that, but for other things as well. But I'm learning myself as I go through this journey, and so that in itself is huge, a huge dynamic in dealing with all the things on this trauma wheel. Now, my question to you all is there anything you see on this trauma wheel that you want to actually share that you might see sleep disturbances, memory and concentration, or, anything above here in hyper arousal or avoidance that you can speak to? If you don't have to, obviously, but I just want to ask the question.
I would like to speak on avoidance.
Okay.
One thing I've learned to do is, and to be honest, it's something that I'm not saying I created this wall, but as I became more and more of an adult, I've learned to kind of like avoid problems and avoid situations. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if a person not treat me right, or if a person ain't doing this and ain't doing that, and it's not to my expectations, because I feel like if I'm gonna treat you a certain way, I'm looking for you to treat me the same way. And to be honest, that's how I live. So if I feel like I'm not being treated correctly and I'm being mistreated, then what I'll do is I'll typically put up a wall and I'll leave that individual alone. I'll explain myself only so many times. And once I feel like a person not getting it, then that's the best solution to the problem for me. It might not be the best solution for someone else, but for me, it's the best solution, because now I feel like, hey, if I'm not getting that positive energy, I'd rather leave you alone. I keep my positive energy over here, and you keep the negatives over there. So I tend to avoid, you know what I'm saying, or kind of like, distance myself from someone, because I feel like at the end of the day, we all should be treated with respect. And as we become older, we live and we learn. We don't know everything. We learn things every day, but at the same time, I feel like treat a person as you would want to be treated. And I feel like if you can live like that, then things will be a lot easier.
Right. So, we are life learners, Paris. We are life learners. The minute we stop learning is the minute we die.
Exactly.
And we should be receiving, education from all, right? Even the people you don't like or can't stand are teaching you something. For sure. And but I definitely agree with that. But a question I have for you is, you said if you see something that you don't like or doesn't vibe with you, you avoid it, right?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question though, too, P. Is that a little bit subjective? Meaning that if just because you don't like it or you don't agree with it, does it make it right or wrong since you don't like it? Because I could be telling you, Pears, don't eat your ice cream, eat your broccoli, Don't eat your ice cream. Eat your broccoli. Eat your broccoli. Your broccoli. But no, Unc, I want to eat my ice cream. But I'm trying to. Just because you don't agree with it, but I'm giving you something. I'm giving you the right thing to do. Right? You like I'm not eating none of it because Uncle Jamil get on my nerves. But wait a minute, that's subjective, right? Because you don't like it, but I'm trying to give you something healthy.
Yeah, it has to be more on the disrespectful side. Something like that I can understand. It has to be something that I feel like that's abusing me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like once I'm being abused, that's a different subject. Now, if we talking on something like as far as eating food or doing something else, but if it's got something to do with more like I feel like I'm being attacked or in a disrespectful manner, or I'm being attacked, and this person not understanding, then I feel like removing myself. You know what I'm saying? I feel like our energy is everything. I love to keep positive energy around me. Now I can sit there and I can talk to you, and we can understand each other, and we can come to an agreement on a lot of things. But once I feel like I'm being used or I feel like I'm being mistreated, that's the biggest thing for me, being mistreated.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Mistreated, right? Exactly. Yeah. The broccoli example was a bad example, but still.
No, understand.
Exactly. So what we've got a few minutes left here. Is there anything that anyone else wants to talk about on this wheel? If not, I want to jump into some strategies of how to start traumatic recovery. Okay. Basically, I'm going to repeat them. I don't have to share on the screen, but I'm going to repeat them. There's 8 strategies. This is according to the CDC of how to recover from traumatic experiences as a child. One is full psychological evaluation. That means go see a therapist. Go talk to somebody. Right? Somebody that with the credentials to give you the response you need, or the tools you need, or the actual strategies you need to deal with your trauma. Number 2, finding a trauma specialist. There are certain people that specialize in certain traumas. Loss of a loved one, whether it be death or or murder or whatever, or divorce or separation or whatever, right? Or family shall I say specialist. Finding a functional medical doctor. Some people may need to be on some sort of Prozac or some sort of prescribed medicine so they can help them deal with trauma. Now, by all means, it's only 8 of them, so please chime in if you want to chime in on them. Number 4, exercise. Right? Health is wealth. Ain't that right, E? You said all the time.
Absolutely.
Your health is your wealth, right? Keeping yourself busy. And I think you said an absent mind is the devil's playground. But you know what? Take your ass to the gym. You'll be all right. Self-regulation techniques and stress reduction. That's number 5, right? Yoga, meditation, doing things that, taking a step away from everybody else and spending time with yourself to self heal, right? Breathing techniques, sleep, and sleep is also on the trauma wheel. Sleep, get some rest. That's it. That's huge. Number 7, clean up your diet. Health is wealth again. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit. It all kind of works together to become a more healthier you. And the last one, seek support. Seek support could be from dear friends, family, loved ones, all over. People that you have in your circle that have your best interests in mind. I know that the challenges that I'm currently facing, E-Dub and JD have been with me from day one on them, and that kind of includes that seek support, right? And also too, there are challenges in our family right now, Pierce, and I are experiencing that he and I talked about. It's another example of seeking support. And Tracy, you got the Civic Crew on here with you on the podcast, and you can always go to Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that, and I just want to applaud all of you in this platform. I've sat and watched a few of the shows when Jamil tells me about it, and I want to applaud you all because it is not that often that you have a couple of young Black men who are talking about life and talking about something positive, that they are going to sit and need to take 30 minutes out of their time to get together wherever they are in the world. And the way that you all do. So I applaud you all, and I appreciate the conversations that you all have.
Well, thank you. And you know what? The thing about it is, too, we've been buddies since 7th, 8th, and 10th grade. So
you gotta have that.
Something.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the perfect crew to put it together. So
yeah, you know, I had no hair then. I had a little peach fuzz, and I got so much gray.
You gotta diet.
But seeking support, though, that's huge. That's huge, right? Seeking support is huge. You know,
yeah,
so without further delay, I know it's Thanksgiving, you know, November 24th, 2022. And I really want to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving with your families this year. You know, I guess we normally hold hands, go around, that's what we get thanks for. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my virtual family. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful to be going around the sun another year at the age of 50, you know, and not looking like I'm 50, at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I am very thankful. And I'm thankful for my fans. And I'm thankful for the love that I yet to give. You know what I mean? Because I got a whole lot of love to give. You know, I'm going to continue to keep pouring out. So, around the room, any other comments or anything you guys want to say before we close out? Anything you want to add to the?
Hey, just keep the good job going, boss. Keep it going, man.
Exactly.
Love your program, man. Hope it touches a lot of people. And just keep doing what you love to do, brother. And I'm gonna be here to support you, support all of you all, man. Whatever you want to do. Tracy, I'm gonna get your book. Jamil been telling me about your book. I'm gonna get it.
You and me got to.
Yeah, you in the book. Your name is in the book.
Yeah, I know you told me. Yeah.
And that's the dude named Joe who took my money and he did not want to give it back.
Okay.
So on my next book, I'm going to put this platform because now you all are part of my journey. On my next book, I have all of you.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, hold on, and it says right here, hold on, page 57. And I loaned him $5 and he did not give it back.
Did not give it back. You all were supposed to
give her back her money.
All right, I'll sell it.
E, you want to chime in? Anything you got to say, bro?
Brother, I appreciate the opportunity as always to come on this platform and be able to share. I hope that this message help someone that's out there that's listening and tuning in. And I'm thankful for my life and my family and my virtual friends. So without that, man, I'm just thankful. I appreciate the opportunity.
My man. P, anything you want to close us out?
You know what? I just want to let you know I appreciate you having me on. I love what you got going on. I love the relationship that you have between you and your friends. You know, just me seeing you guys as a young adult growing up and seeing the bond that you guys always kept, man, I feel like that's something very special. And that's something that, you know what I'm saying, you guys cherish that moment and continue to be great friends. And, you know, I just want to thank God for letting me be out here and letting me enjoy the show, giving me an extension of another 24 hours to make things right.
There you go.
And all I'm going to do is continue to love my people. I thank God for my significant other, my kids, family, my friends. And also I thank God for allowing me to speak to you guys and getting a few things off my chest. And I appreciate you guys, and I'm going to get that book. That's a fact.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
And last but not least, before we got about 45 seconds left, JD, you mind standing up one more time? I want to let the listeners know it's Black Friday. Get your Men Speaking Out t-shirts. Your
Where
Men
we get 'em?
Speaking Out t-shirts. MSO, baby. MSO. Men Speaking Out t-shirts.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Where we purchase those from?
You call me directly.
I'm calling you when I get off the phone.
I got you.
Hey, Paris, I think the first 10 people get them free.
Listen. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't want nothing for free. I'm here to support my family. Listen.
There you go.
I'm sending that cash on through.
Thank you. That's why he's not part of the marketing team. There you go. All right. Hey, love y'all to life. Happy Thanksgiving. MenSpeakingOut.com. Check us out. Peace.
Peace.
All right.
All right, Pete.